Hi and hello Watchfans, and welcome back to the Real Time Show, hosting from Micro Praha 2025 here in the centre of Prague. I am joined by Lucy Kapetanovic of Paulin Watches, one of Glasgow's finest makers, to talk more about the fair, her life on the road as it seems to be developing, and the brand itself. So Lucy, welcome to the airwaves and in full Technicolor. You are welcome. You are very welcome. It's a pleasure to see you. I'm glad you survived your recent run around the world because you have been traveling relentlessly for the last few months. Tell us about that.
There's been a lot. Yeah, we've got to quite a lot of watch shows this year. Traveled a lot, seen a lot of people in different countries, and it's been a whirlwind, but it's been a very good one.
So where have you been? Tell us, because it is quite remarkable for people outside the industry to hear about this.
It's crazy to think, but yes, there's been so many new events popping up and events that we wanted to get to. So we tried to go to quite a few. So everywhere from LA, San Francisco, New York, Toronto, Geneva. Where was I recently? Austin. Yeah.
Crikey.
And obviously now we're in Prague as well.
So what do you think about all these new events popping up? I mean, is it exclusively a good thing or is it a bit too much?
I think it can only be a good thing in that there's more opportunity for both exhibitor and enthusiast and collector. More options to see a variety of different brands, and then for the brands to also get to meet people, like potential customers in different countries.
So nowadays you are an exhibitor, brand representative, head of marketing at Paulin, but you have had a longer career and active interest in watchmaking than just that role. You may be recognized by some of our viewers for your time as the face of the Watchbox Diaries on Instagram. Not just the face, but everything to do with it, in fact. And tell us about that. Tell us how you fell into the hobby of watches and how you managed to transition from an independent content creator to now being a brand representative.
Quite a whirlwind journey. It was my stepdad years ago who got me interested in watches with a very vintage Rolex Datejust with a champagne dial. Very simple, it was very stretched. There was loads of dinks on it. And I loved the fact that this thing was beaten up. But everyone kind of knows Rolex. So, and me being the type of person that I am, I like to see other things and, what other brands are out there. So that's how I ended up down the rabbit hole of other watches. I'm sure a lot of people listening had the same journey. You go on eBay, you find random watches, you try and test more inexpensive pieces for sure. Like, I think I fell down the hole of like a Franken-Oris. So I got stung very early on. However, I did buy a little watchmaking book and took that watch apart to learn pieces, within the mechanism.
Really?
So I turned it into a learning curve. And then lockdown occurred and I ended up getting onto Instagram, realized the community was actually a lot. Once you're in it, it's quite vast.
Yeah.
And it's such a supportive community. And then in addition to that, I realized there's not many females out there, or at least not many.
And you are a female.
I am a female.
Congrats.
Yes. Female watch enthusiast. And we're kind of a minority, but they are out there. And it was just finding them, coaxing, other enthusiasts to join in. And then I got very kindly pushed into potentially setting up a YouTube, just trying it. Because again, there's not many female watch YouTubers out there providing a female perspective, but then also an alternative perspective. I'm not, if anyone's watching my reviews, I'm not very spec heavy. I list them, and unless it's a fantastic movement that really requires an in-depth thing, there are other channels that maybe do that a lot better than I do. Right. But I feel like I bring something a little bit different to it. That got noticed by Paulin and Anne Dane. I went up to just have a look at the studio, get some content on the enameling process, which, by the way, is insane. Had a look at all of the collection, had a chat with the guys there, and because I'm so into the community and obviously complete watch nerd.
Yep, we know, yeah.
They were like, would you want to, join the company and help us out with, communicating? They have the watches. They knew what they were doing with design. If you've seen Paulin, they're a very solid have a very solid brand identity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just directing them to getting them into the community a bit better.
Tell us about that brand identity. For people that aren't familiar with Paulin, what are the things that you would say define the brand?
They take the watchmaking side of things seriously, but they are very much design-led as a company. The typography is specific and bespoke to Paulin.
Mm-hmm.
Imogen, our creative director, created it herself. Her degree's in typography. She's fantastic. Her mind works in very cool ways. She comes up with the design aspects of it, placement of the dials. We have fun with the dials, the materials, the colorways. We offer quartz, manual wind, and automatic options. So there's almost something for everyone. And then on top of that, we get to collaborate with other people within the creative industry. So local artists who hand paint some of our dials. We've got Ono, which is probably one of our most famous, iconic pieces. He's a type foundry from San Jose that has never worked on a watch dial before. Very bold type, very bold fonts. And we just loved his work so much. Reached out to him, asked if he wanted to create a watch dial. And, it's really cool seeing how they work. Yeah. They're going from very different media outlets and outputs to a teeny tiny watch dial. So seeing what they end up doing with it is really cool. And then just further bringing the creative industry, the design industry into the watch industry and helping those two combine. Because I think there's a really good crossover between the two.
It seems to suit the brand of Paulin much better than it would many others because of that design-led core tenet. You've been creating watch content now for several years. You are, I would say, a very established member, especially of the British watchmaking scene, but also now internationally. Now you're traveling around. You've been with Paulin for more than a year now, right?
About a year and a half now.
Okay, right. So that's coming along fast. It's amazing.
Flown by, yeah.
Do you see a difference from when you joined the industry as one of maybe the most prominent and one of the earliest female content creators on Instagram and latterly YouTube to now? Are there more women in the industry? Are there more women at events like this? Is it going in the right direction?
Definitely. Yeah. Even it's not like the women or the the women in the industry weren't there. It's not like the women who were interested in watches weren't necessarily there. It's having more of a highlight of them, which is great. And then also other women feeling more comfortable about getting into the community. And there's a whole, I don't know. I don't really know that much about watches. I feel like, I'm going to come across as stupid or, not know anything. And actually, there's so many people that are super helpful. It's a really supportive community and it's given them, I guess, more of a confidence to actually get online and talk to people and express their hobby better. So there's definitely a massive increase that I've seen in watch YouTubers, Instagram accounts, watch enthusiasts that go to meetups such as like Red Bars, female watch enthusiasts at watch events that aren't just there because they're being dragged by their partners. They're genuinely interested in the watches.
I've seen a few dragging their partners along back now, and that's a positive change.
Exactly.
I mean, we're all at different stages on our journey through watchmaking, whether it's our career or hobby, passion, whatever you want to call it. But I think the key thing, what's really valuable to the industry on the whole, is just different perspectives. So you can have a very naive take on the industry, but it doesn't mean it's not valuable. It doesn't mean that there isn't like a reason for you to be there. Like it matters because sometimes people who haven't been in the industry, and I notice this as an old hack, I would say, who's been around much longer than most people would like me to have been, I'm sure, but I see this completely new perspective, a new take on something that I have already like cynically discarded as maybe irrelevant, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm used to this way of thinking, and they come in totally fresh eyes and say, oh, but I see it like this. And it's enriching. And it just reminds you that it doesn't matter if you've been in the industry for 2 years or 20 years, there's always stuff to learn and it's always developing. And with people like you leading the charge of brands like Paulin, there's more and more creativity being pulled in from different fora around the world. And that is an awesome thing. Have you ever been tempted to design a watch yourself?
There's watches that I've seen that I kind of want to tweak.
Okay.
For sure.
What sort of things do you want to tweak? Hand length, like colors,
Usually
diameters?
color, sizing of watches. I don't want to drone on about the female aspect of it. It's very much more of a, if anyone's watched any of my YouTube, it's the Itty Bitty Wrist Committee. And I'm
The
a solid...
Itty Bitty Wrist Committee. That's legit. I love that.
Yeah, I'm a long-standing member of it, and it's not necessarily that I have a female wrist, I just have a smaller wrist.
I assume you do have a female wrist.
I do. It's not, but that's not the focus.
That would be genetically bizarre if just your wrist was male.
Just
so really hairy wrist, like just one really stacked. Yeah.
So, medical.
Yeah, your medical marvel.
Medical marvel.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Itty Bitty Wrist Committee. How small does your wrist have to be to get into the Itty Bitty Tiny Wrist Committee?
Just have a smaller wrist. There's so many watch brands out there, and it is getting better. And I think it has changed almost as a trend that some watches are now getting smaller, but the majority of them are larger diameters.
Right.
Which you can love a watch, absolutely love it, but it doesn't fit your wrist. But then they try and make a smaller option, but they make it very feminine.
Okay.
And I'm like, but I want that watch, the one that you made in that size, but I want it just to fit me.
Have you ever noticed that when brands have done that, when they don't do the whole like shrink it, cover it in stones and put a quartz movement in it, but they do it right, like they reduce the size, but do you find sometimes that then the watch doesn't really work at the new dimensions, even though the proportions may be relatively the same as the large one? Do you find that there's like an optimum of models, or are you okay with it?
I think when they shrink and refresh, the text, like the type and like the hand size and things, to make sure it's proportionate to that smaller case. I think it works perfectly.
Okay, cool. Can you give me an example of any watches that you would love to own if they had proportions suitable to your itty bitty wrist?
I am, up until last year, the IWC Engineer.
Okay. Up until last year.
Well, they've now released a smaller sizing.
The 35.
Exactly.
Right, but do you like the 35?
I love it.
Okay, right, fine. You're a convert. Okay, you're consistent.
I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong. I would much rather have the vintage version, but that's just because I'm a vintage gal at heart. But
you managed to censor yourself. Then I didn't have to bleep that out. Whatever you were going to say, like it was great. Yeah.
I know I'm a vintage girl at heart.
A vintage girl at heart.
Okay. That's where my love affair of watches started. But the new Engineer, love it.
Very interesting.
If they made a slightly smaller Ploprof, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would probably have a Ploprof in the sizing that it is, which is absolutely ridiculous. However, if they made a slightly smaller option, I would. That's it. Like that. You've
seen the 75 year anniversary Seamaster Ploprof with the stouter case and the blue rubber strap. Have you had that one on your wrist? No, I know it's not the same. You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's just not the same. This is it. They changed it.
Yeah, they did change it.
It's smaller, but they changed the design. I'm like, but I want that one.
Yeah.
In a smaller case.
No, yeah, I'm kind of with you. You're right though that the Ploprof is kind of its own thing. It's such an ugly, unwieldy lump of a watch.
Love it.
It's my original Grail. Did you know this?
Is it?
There's an article on a blog to watch from 2015 about my Grail watch, and it was a Ploprof, but the steel one, because I don't like the titanium. I don't like the lightness of it, and it rattles around a bit. It's got to be an absolute weapon. And
I loaned one, did a review of one in the steel.
Black.
It's a brick. That thing weighs a ton.
Yeah.
There's actually a guy here at Micro Praha that has one on his wrist, and I spotted it from like down the corridor.
Oh, nice. I noticed on Chrono 24 they're actually starting to come down in price a bit now for the steel. I want to go halves on one and do like a timeshare thing. I've wanted one all my life.
You get custody for this.
Yeah. Let's not take it to court. We can sort it out between ourselves. But
civil.
It would be amazing to actually have one and to be able to wear it occasionally, but not every day. Although you go to the gym often enough to probably be able to lift it. I don't think I could even lift my arm if I was wearing it.
It's a workout.
It is massive. Now, you mentioned that there's someone here at Micro Praha wearing the Ploprof. We should talk more about Micro Praha specifically. What do you like about this fair in comparison to the very many fairs that you've been to this year?
I am a big fan of this fair. It's a very good mix of brands from a variety of different locations. It's a really good European show. So obviously a lot of more European brands. They plan it really, really well. The venue is insane. Like, the venue is so gorgeous. It's ridiculous. It's all very well organized. So from a brand perspective, that's great. And then the amount of people that come through, it's not overwhelming, but it's constant. So you actually get time to speak to people and speak to potential customers, portray your story, and actually create connections with people. So that's why I think it's a really good show.
It is, I think, just beautifully laid out with the way that the initial entrance corridor is lined with brands, as it were, and then you've got 2 halls now that you can circle because they had to open a new one because they added so many brands from last year. You were here last year.
Much bigger than last year. And it was already busy last year.
Yeah.
So.
And last year they had maybe 3,000, 3,500. Now they reckon about 4,000 that can come through. And that's an incredible return for a brand, considering what it costs.
Yeah.
We don't normally talk about this, but it is an extremely affordable event for the amount of footfall that you get. And it's easy to get to right at the end of the year. You don't want to be schlepping all over the country. You don't want to be going like off to the US more than you have to, although you've been in and out quite a lot this year.
Yeah. It's great going to the US, and those shows are lovely as well. It's an hour and a half flight from the UK.
Yeah, it's a piece of
which
cake.
is helpful, and obviously it's literally out the train station, so
which sounds
very accessible to people.
It is, because you can step off a train and without even leaving the building, you
literally just go downstairs.
And Prague is basically in the center of Europe, so we love it. But we're talking about it a lot because obviously, although the number of brands has grown from, I think, around 40, 45 last year to around 80 now. So it's a huge expansion. And basically the building is now at capacity. We still want more eyes on Micro Praha. We want people to come. If you're a young brand, if you're looking for ways to get connected to the watch community in Europe, this is a really good option. And it's tough to walk that line when you're trying to develop new products, which are appropriately commercial, but also be present in events to budget for that. And this one, last night, we went for dinner and some beers, right?
Yep.
And we were buying pints of the finest Czech pivo for approximately €2.61, which was refreshing. So don't worry, you will be refreshed if you come to Micro Praha. I guess you're going to be back next year. I guess that's a no-brainer.
I think so. Yeah. It's a show that we really enjoy, but then also it's, as we mentioned earlier, like the footfall is fantastic, and you also get a lot of range. So you get people bringing their kids along. Like you get teenagers coming in, seeing it's their first watch show. You got people who come back each year to see what you've got new, and it's a really good connection that way. So.
Will you be working with Banu and Andrea at Infinity Watches for Paulin? Is that a plan?
We have some watches in their showroom.
Already?
Their brand new showroom already.
Wow. And do you think you might do a brand specific event with Infinity at some point and come out and have an evening when people come and visit and meet you in person?
Ooh, we can certainly have a chat about it. That would be great. I'd happily come back, to be honest. The guys are amazing. They're really lovely. So I'd happily,
all part of that big family. So as you mentioned, it's not overwhelming, but it's busy. It's constantly busy. And I dragged you away from a stand that is now being overseen by somebody who looked like a deer in the headlights, basically, when the exchange happened. So I'm going to let you go back.
It's very nice to have that option, though, as like released. I mean, I'm here, just me, just Lucy, with Paulin. So it's nice to have that additional support staff.
You must have done well.
So they've planned it well in that respect, for sure.
Yeah, well, leaving you on your own in a foreign country is always a bit of a risk, I would say. But you're a seasoned hand.
Honestly, I'm used to it now. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. I used to fear traveling.
Did you really?
A little bit, yeah. Especially like overseas on your own. But now, I'm seasoned. I know exactly what I'm doing with packing. I know, I have all of the stock with me, or I have samples with me. I have all of the display stuff with me. I know exactly what I'm packing.
Got your running shoes?
I do have stuff for the gym. Yeah.
Did you go to the gym today?
Not today.
Okay.
Tomorrow, though. I think
tomorrow.
Might
okay. Well, we'll see how tonight goes first, I guess. But the nice thing is, as soon as you drop into a city like this, or a city like any that you've been to recently, you have a gang. You have like friends. You have people that you can just like lean on if you need something. We're all in the same boat. We all live out of suitcases. We know what it's like, and I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, everyone's in the same boat, and it is supportive. Like it's such a cool industry. I've been in the community now for 10 years. I've been at Paulin for 1.5 years now, and I'm nowhere near sick of it. Like watches 24/7.
Good to
I'm
hear.
happy. I'm happy.
Very happy. What a lovely, happy way to end the recording for today. So, Luce, thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
Have a lovely end to day one and good luck for day two.